Hello, everybody.
Hi guys, it's Polly and Taylor from Beaten Jeans, and we are going to be doing our episode 7 of Stomach Cancer Awareness Month. And today we're going to be interviewing Tia-Brooke, otherwise known as Hey Tia-Brooke. So we're going to go ahead and invite her in.
She's so cute. We just talked to her on the phone, and she's like an open book. So we're really excited to talk to her because we know that she's going to share a lot. Okay, here we go. And also, we've had people reach out about wanting to do the interview. So again, if you're interested this month for Stomach Cancer Awareness Month, just reach out and we can pick a time to make this happen. Okay, we got Tia-Brooke. Hi. Gorgeous. Look at how beautiful you are.
Thank you. An affinity for vintage hair.
I love it.
Thank
I wish I
you.
could pull that off. I know.
You guys look gorgeous too. You guys always have it's such a glow to you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to talk to you.
We're so grateful that you're here. So thank you. So we're gonna just have you're approaching your 2-year gastro, what do you call it?
I call it my PG-versary or gastro anniversary.
Okay. That'll be February 10th. It'll be your 2-year mark.
Correct. I was recovering during Valentine's Day. So we decorated the whole room with handmade Valentines with messages from my family. My grandma, my mom did that. It brightened up the whole hospital. It was very nice.
Oh,
very
cute.
nice.
Yeah.
So take us back to the beginning. What made you test for this mutation?
Wow. Okay. So to go back to the beginning, we would have to go back to a very oblivious time in my mom and I's life in terms of this. We had no idea basically what was going on. I talked to her yesterday. She said it was 2016 when she was seeing her primary care provider. She's a veteran, so she has great health care through the U.S. government. She was seeing her primary care provider, and I have 2 uncles that have passed from leukemia. So her primary care provider was concerned that there was a cancer history, like a genetic aspect to our cancer history in our family, and decided to do a full panel of all the genetic testing. So my mom didn't think much of it because she was looking for something regarding leukemia, and it didn't come back with anything to do with that. They did come back with CDH1 though, and she started doing surveillance, alternating with the breast portion. The gastro side wasn't really, it was discussed, but not so much. It's kind of it just slipped through the radar a little bit. So
that because there was no stomach cancer in your history, or mostly breast?
Well, there is mostly breast in our family. We're learning more as we learn the ancestry.com, reaching out to people we don't even know who are in our family and letting them know. And there's more incidences of lobular breast cancer in extended family. But that's how we kind of really got serious about it. My mom was diagnosed in 2019 with lobular breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
I think the left side. So she was doing her surveillance. She came up on an MRI, which is wonderful. That's what the surveillance was for. And she immediately opted, we're doing double mastectomy, just no chances. So they did end up finding it in both breasts. It was really good call.
Oh. That's what happened yesterday with
Erica.
Yeah.
Erica, yeah. I was watching her story yesterday. Yeah. Same thing. It's pretty typical because the lobular likes to hide. It likes to form
it's pretty sneaky.
Spider webs. Yeah, it can be pretty sneaky. I mean, I don't want to say she was lucky that she had a lump, but to find a lump and to be indicated to move forward, it's a blessing. Yeah. So we consider my mom's breast cancer an early diagnosis quite a blessing because it was the bomb drop that let her current doctors know this ball is rolling, right? Yeah. So she basically started talking to her doctors about the mastectomy portion, and we got really lucky. Her breast surgeon, I cannot remember his name for the life of me right now, which is terrible, but he's a wonderful guy. He used to work with the NIH in the CDH1 side of things with Dr. Davis, and he just so happened to be here in Florida, getting ready to move to a different state, and he was her breast guy. And he was like, "Look."
Oh, wow. So she didn't even have to go to NIH.
Not for her breast, no.
Oh.
And he was very well versed in the CDH1 side of things with the gastrectomy. And it was kind of like the doctors started to go, okay, well, we've been monitoring your breast, but your stomach is a ticking time bomb. That's something you need to take. That was the term they used, ticking time bomb. So that's when we started to really understand there's something happening here. It's serious, though it's rare. And we went very quickly through the mastectomy surgery. I think it was less than 2 or 3 months from diagnosis to when her surgery was totally complete. And we did the connection with NIH right away. I found the Facebook group. I was like, the internet has something for everything, right?
Right? Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it is amazing. My mom's like, "What do I do? This is so rare." I was like, "Let's type this into Facebook. We're gonna find."
Right.
Yeah, we found something, and that as soon as I knew there was a 50-50 chance that I had it, and I saw that my mom was going through what she was going through, and she was being so strong and preventative about what she could, I knew I wanted to get my stomach taken out. It just was a matter of finding the right team and trusting the process and getting mentally on board. So it started.
So were you tested right when she was tested, or did you wait a bit?
She was tested in 2016, and then it was like, honestly, she was, I think, in the call. I think we're losing. I lost you guys for a second. Are you back?
There we go. Yes. So she was in the car or something.
Okay. Yeah, so she was in the car in 2016, and she got the news, and it's just kind of one of those things, like, you've got this, you got this thing, and it wasn't made such a big deal of, probably because the person telling her didn't really know it was a big deal. It's so rare,
Right.
So it really slipped past our radar until she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it got very serious very fast. So she had already had her diagnosis for CDH1 for 3 years when I got mine. I knew in my bones, I knew I had it. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree kind of thing. Like, I'm a carbon copy of my mom. So I knew I had it. And before I even got my positive diagnosis, I knew what I wanted to do if it was positive. So yeah, that's how we found out. And we got really lucky to find out.
And what did you want to do? You wanted to go forth with the double mastectomy and with the total gastrectomy?
I did, yeah. I'm still awaiting the end of, COVID times and the right financial position to move from surveillance to the mastectomy and reconstruction if I opt for reconstruction. But the stomach I could not live with the stress of wondering what.
It's awful, isn't it? Right. I know. So true. And that's sort of what we're going through right now. Do we want to continue living in fear, or do we want to have this just, a different issue? Like, I don't know.
I totally understand.
Right. So you're opted for gastrectomy first over mastectomy, and you joined the NIH study.
Yep.
And so did you do any surveillance at all, or did you just say, hey, we want our stomachs out right away?
My first appointment, even emailing them before I went there, I was like, I want my stomach out. So they knew that I was really on board, but they're very serious about what they do and making sure that you know what you're getting into. They made sure that they took me in. We did all of the initial paperwork, the consults. I met the entire team. And we decided we were going to move forward, booked I think we had a date of January. It was the beginning of January for 2020 was on the calendar. Like, my mom and I were going to get simultaneous surgeries. We were like, we're doing it. Yeah, Dr. Davis was like,
you guys got
sick,
right? You guys got sick.
They put us in the same room because we wanted to be together. Right. One of us got the flu on the way there, gave it to the other one. It was just going around like crazy. So we got all the way there, ready to go, day before surgery, and they had to send us home.
My gosh, all that mental preparedness.
Yeah.
That had to be so
Beverly.
hard.
Beverly is one of my very close friends on here.
Oh, hi, Beverly. We know Beverly.
Lovely. Thanks for joining. Yeah, no, we were, it was kind of a roller coaster, but it ended up working out for the best because we were able, even with a 1 month difference, I ended up coming back 1 month later in February and she went in March, and we were able to go through it together, but not with both of us having a catheter and an epidural at the same time.
Right.
Right.
One of you needed to take care of the other, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
So she went first.
I went first.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We have a little glitch. Hang on, guys. Okay. So you went first. And
Did you have pre-screening or just gastrectomy?
uh-oh. Okay, are we all here?
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't know whose reception that is, but we're all here.
Okay.
So did you do a biopsy screening, or they just went straight into gastrectomy?
Oh yeah, no, they did ensure that they needed a baseline of everything for the study. So Dr. Davis was really adamant that he wanted to go in there and take a look before he went in there surgically, just to look for any anatomical differences. Like sometimes you have a different shape to your body inside, and he wanted to be prepared for all of that stuff surgically. But we knew, regardless of my pathology from that endoscopy, that we were going to go forward.
Right. And did they find anything on that initial screening? No.
No.
And then how about post-gastrectomy?
Stage 1A. I can't remember exactly the amount of signet cells, but I definitely had stage 1A, and so did my mom.
Wow.
So hearing that, was that just like a thank God I made this decision? Thank goodness I went forward with this.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it kind of sounds terrible, but at the point when your stomach is already out and you're waiting for your pathology for those 2 weeks, all I could think was I kind of hope that they find something. Like you just don't have done all of that for nothing, and I would have been fine with it if they hadn't found something. I would have been very grateful, of course, because you never know what's going to pop up and when. But yeah, it was a little bit of a relief.
Can I ask you how old you are?
I'm 32.
Okay, so you were 30 when you had your stomach out. Okay. And because that's the average age is 36, right? For when they say that this type of cancer comes into fruition.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So you were below the age that it typically.
Well, that's not. I mean, some people are younger.
Yeah,
some are older.
Well, that's the thing. It can be juvenile. I've heard cases of 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds having it, and it's just so scary. I'm a highly anxious person generally, and I knew my overall health was going to suffer with waiting and wondering. I was not ready to do that. And I think the younger you are, if you can do it, your body will bounce back a lot better.
Right. So tell us about your recovery. How was it?
Oh, recovery is still going on, but it's so good now. For the most part, I eat what I want. I have side effects. I get sleepy when I eat. That's my biggest thing. I had a very easy recovery, I would say, in terms of nausea and food aversion was really awful in the first few months. I remember walking through the cafeteria at the NIH after surgery just to be around food, and I was like, it's like what morning sickness would be, kind of thing. You're just like hurl. So it was hard, but when you work with the pharmacy team and you work through letting your nerve endings, fix themselves and your new digestive tract to get to know what the heck is going on, things change. They were changing hour to hour, day to day, week to week. Sometimes it was not a lot of change, and it just felt like you were in Dante's Inferno for a week and a half, and you weren't going to find your way out. And then other days it was like high, low, high, low, high, low. And you just, honestly, you just have to be willing to be curious, to ride it out, and have faith that you're going to get through that next moment, whatever it is.
Right. Live moment to moment, right?
Absolutely.
Live day to day. How long were you in the hospital?
I think I was there about 10 days. They said I might be there about 2 weeks, and I was doing really well, so they sent me home early. I'm pretty sure I got my epidural out on the 5th day, and then it was just kind of watching.
That's so quick to me. I mean, that seems so fast. And then
Yeah.
I noticed that you did acupuncture when you were there. So that was something that the NIH did for you.
Yes.
Is that,
No,
did they do that and offer it to everyone?
Yeah, you have to, they have the, you know, the pain palliative, what do they call it? It's like palliation or something. Palliative care. That's what it is. The palliative care pain team comes out by you. Yeah. And they ask you, you know, basically your preferences. Do you need any more, you know, drugs like morphine or whatever? How's your epidural? They check in and all that. But then they also offer other services. They have
amazing.
I visited guinea pigs. I mean, they brought guinea pigs to my room every day that I wanted, so that I could
really like actual guinea pigs.
Yeah, if you go on my Instagram back to around the time that I had surgery, you'll see that they brought me guinea pigs. Like there was like 5 of them, and it is just wonderful. They have a really wonderful
spirits.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you went home. I assume you weren't eating much by the time you got home. So, and I also assume like adjusting to home life eating versus hospital eating was drastically different.
You know, it was and it wasn't. For me, it really was like such an up, down, moment to moment thing. Like I said, I mean, for context, on my way home from the airport, you know, 10, 11 days later, the first thing that I wanted to eat was Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Like I ordered it grilled, I got it breaded, I still got half of it down, and a sugar-free lemonade. So, but then, you know, maybe 2 days later, I'm like, oh, I can't eat anything, you know? So.
Right.
Yeah.
And you are married, and was I know this, but tell us about your husband and how supportive he was through the whole journey. And
I am actually not married yet, but I may as well be. Very much in love. I was very fortunate to have, I think, you know, support team is so important. I had my mom going through it side by side with me. So that was really important to me. So that was someone that could literally know, and still to this day knows what I'm going through at any given time. And my partner, he was amazing. You know, we had not been dating for even a year, and he was like, I'm in it. I'm in it with you, sickness and health.
Oh my gosh.
He took me, he fattened me up before surgery. We did a food tour.
I know, your grandparents.
Like we ate in the Grand Canyon in the bottom of it. We had pasta. I was like, we're doing it.
Amazing.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
How
but
much
now he
weight
still has to
did
take
you
me out.
gain?
Huh?
How much weight did you gain prior to surgery?
I think I was about 140 before I got my food tour started, and then I maxed out around 175 right before surgery.
Oh yeah,
had some
fun. Yeah.
And so I've heard mixed things about that, like gaining weight and not gaining weight. Were you grateful that you did just because you had such a hard time eating?
I think that I was grateful because I'm a real foodie and I needed that emotional closure. You really go into the surgery going, like, you ask the team 1,000 questions about what you can do, the nutritionist, the surgeon, and they're like, we can't tell you what's going to happen after surgery. We can tell you we'll support you. We can tell you you'll get your vitamins and your nutrients some way, you know, but we don't know what you're going to be adverse to. So I just wasn't sure. And because I wasn't sure, I really wanted to have a whole bunch of experiences. And because I was already at a healthy BMI, you know, I didn't feel that it was going to be detrimental to my surgical recovery to gain a little bit of weight. They don't say you should gain weight before surgery, even though you can lose a vast amount. Your body tapers off at its natural kind of stop point for the most part.
Well, in my opinion, I think you did it right. Sounds like that was amazing.
It was so fun. I think about it all the time still. My poor boyfriend still has to pay for lots of fancy meals because I can still eat well, but I don't regret it.
Well, that's awesome.
So now, almost 2 years post gastrectomy, you say you're eating more and more now these days. Are you having many down days now, almost 2 years out?
I find that it really has a correlation to my stress levels. You know, if lots of stuff is going on, you know, the brain and the gut are connected, and that even without the the original connections of the vagus nerve that get severed during the surgery, the brain and the gut are still very intrinsically connected. So when I have a high stress moment, I have a really hard time eating. I went on vacation last week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, did I eat? I ate so much. And I was at the buffet all the time. You know, it's portioned, it's small portions, and I can get really tired after I eat, but you know, sometimes it's like just a 30-minute, you lay down, you do yoga or you do breathing exercises or whatever. You find what you need to work through it, and you work your meals around your typical reaction to them.
Now, you said that you were a vegan. Was that prior to the gastrectomy?
Yeah, I was a vegetarian from the time that I was 18 to 28. And I think in the last year of that, I was a vegan because lactose was bothering me at that time. It was actually kind of like accidental veganism. I just woke up one day and I was like, I think I've been a vegan for 8 months. But yeah, I had gone back to eating meat prior to that. And I am grateful because for me, actually, I do very well with meat now, and it's a good way to get protein, particularly lighter meats like fish and you know, a steak is a lot harder than a shredded chicken that's been cooked in moisture or has a gravy or something. You got to find your textures and your amounts that work for you.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's all a big experiment. Now, your mom, does she live in Florida also?
Yes.
Okay. And how is she doing today?
She's doing really well. She struggled for a long time. She had so many feeding tubes in the first year, and they were really considering going back in and doing an exploratory revision surgery just because she had so much bile reflux that was out of control. You know, and I had a lot of survivor's guilt about getting through this and knowing everything and getting past it when we lose so many people to stomach cancer. But I also had an internal kind of family guilt. Like I was just like, oh, I wish I could take some of that on for her. She had a really hard time, and it just goes to show you don't know what's going to happen, but she has pulled through. I think, like, you know, right when they decided, hey, we're going to maybe consider exploratory surgery, it wasn't like a week or two later, she was like, I think maybe we should consider taking the feeding tube out. You couldn't always put it back in, and they did, and she eats well now. She's a lot like me, ups and downs.
And no surgery. Wow.
No, she had very severe esophagitis. Her entire esophagus was very red and inflamed, and that was her number one problem with eating.
And that's resolved now.
That is resolved now. It took a long time to heal, but it is resolved.
Wow,
now,
amazing.
I want to ask you to go back a little bit to the vagus nerve. I don't know anything about that. So they actually sever that nerve when they remove the stomach?
Yeah, so I actually just learned a little bit more. I've been learning more about this lately. I knew the vagus nerve was going to be involved in the surgery, but it wasn't until after I had the surgery that I realized how much it was, you know, severed. And I'm still questioning exactly what's going on. I'm going to reach out to the team and see how much research they have on the vagus nerve. But I did hear from my mom, who's been talking to a fellow seahorse and their family, that they did a surgery with a different doctor who also worked with a neurosurgeon, because the vagus nerve is a central line nerve that connects most of your body's systems, like your brain. It's the brain and digestive connection. But it also regulates things like your blood pressure, your emotions, your response to stress, so many different things, your breathing. And this other team worked with a neurosurgeon, and I guess to save as much of that nerve as they could during the surgery. This woman gets hungry. She still gets hungry. So,
wow. So she gets that feeling of, because you don't have that feeling.
Yeah. I have a different feeling. I know what I can kind of feel a very subtle shift in my blood sugar of different cues, or some people call it an emptiness, but apparently she gets true hunger sensations. So I think it's really amazing. There's cutting edge research happening all over the world.
I would love to hear about who does that and talk to them. Actually.
Yeah.
Really good.
I'll let you know when I get more details. It's very fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you do a lot of meditation, and do you feel like that's helping you since your vagus nerve was cut? I mean, are you having those symptoms of mental?
Yeah, I had to. I did a lot of work to get my eating under control off of smoothies. A little bit. I'll wait for you to come back.
Oh, here we are.
Here we go. Are you there? We're here.
There you are. Okay. I was just saying I did a lot of smoothies for a while. Yeah, I couldn't eat anything for a while. I had severe food aversions, and being a nanny, I'm always running around chasing kids. It's hard to get your calories in. So my nutritionist at the NIH got me on a smoothie regime, and I was able to pound a lot of calories and get a lot of hydration that way until my appetite started to come back and I started to be able to heal those things. But what I really needed to do to heal, even after like my follow-up with Dr. Davis, was just to get into some therapy for just processing all of it. I think everybody that goes through this should really have not only a support team, but a therapy, team.
Right.
Do you still talk to your therapist?
I do. We've moved on to once a month, and we're tapering off. She's about to let me fly the coop, but I will always have therapy in my gamut. She's there for me if I need her.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I think that's a good suggestion for anybody, not even if you don't have a stomach. Mental wellness is so important.
Yes. And if you're going to go through something related to a major surgery and that's coming up in your life, I would tell people, don't wait until you absolutely need that help. Be fearless in going, hey, this big thing's going to happen to me, and this is a lot of stuff to process, because you don't want to be playing catch up. You want to be doing it.
Yeah, explaining to them what you're about to be going through, and hopefully they can help you through that process.
Yep.
Wow. That's great. It's such good advice.
It is good advice. I need to get that counselor.
Yeah, get on it. I know you guys are still weighing everything like back and forth. I know what that feels like. I mean, I went through that kind of really fast with a lot of whiplash, but I know those feelings.
Right. Yeah.
So you've already, are you planning your 1-year checkup at NIH, or your 2-year checkup?
So I had my 1-year checkup. The 2-year checkup, I am not probably going to go in person. I have been very fortunate to find a gastroenterologist here in my city that he works with bariatric patients, and he feels confident working in conjunction with Dr. Davis. Like, he asked me, what labs does NIH want? He follows their protocol, but I get to stay at home as much as possible.
Well, that's really
particularly
nice.
COVID times, and they relay information between one another.
Oh, that's great.
That's
so he's communicating with Dr. Davis. That's great.
Did you find that gastroenterologist before you had your stomach out?
No, and I did not realize like how important that facet would be to me. I got really lucky when I was looking for a new primary care provider that I found someone who did primary care, but also was a gastrosurgeon.
Right, right.
I just saw Beverly ask about bone density. She says she's lost some bone density. Have you had an issue with that? And
I did have that. So you need to be taking calcium, 1,500 milligrams a day of calcium citrate split over 3 different doses in order to properly absorb your calcium after surgery. I know different people take different vitamins, but that's the NIH's recommendation, and it has to be calcium citrate. In terms of loss, there's only so much you can do to mitigate it. It's something that naturally happens as you age. It happens more with women. That's why we see higher instances of osteoporosis. But I did my DEXA scan at the 1-year mark, and I think I lost, I want to say 14 or so % of bone density overall, but most of it was located in my hips. Where I have noticed a lot of issues is actually my teeth, unfortunately. I feel that's one thing that your body will pull calcium from, and you can't see that on a bone density scan. So now I go for 3 times a year cleanings at the dentist instead of 2. And I do more x-rays than normal. And we watch things very closely. My dentist is aware of my surgical history, and I had to have a very nice conversation. Huh?
Yeah, have you had cavities? Is that what it does? Is it okay?
Well, that was my experience. Different people have different experiences. Every body is unique, and your body might not pull calcium first from your teeth. I think that's where my body kind of went for it. I ended up having, I don't want to scare anybody, but I had 7 cavities within a 7-month period. And I take care of my teeth. So I was kind of like, and I was seeing a new dentist. So he was like, let's do 7 fillings. And then the next time I went in to see him, I had another cavity, which was just a few months later. Wasn't even my next checkup. And I was like, okay, we need to talk about this. When I say I have no stomach, I mean I have no stomach and my body is pulling calcium from my teeth. Like, I think you just have to remember to advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid to educate medical professionals, because this is a rare circumstance and they might not know.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. That is so
I didn't know that. Does the bone density wearing off, does that taper off, or do you continue to lose?
As long as you maintain your calcium levels with your vitamins, I think it starts to taper off, from my understanding. Yeah.
Were you not taking calcium? Is that what happened? Is that why you were getting all those cavities?
I was touch and go with my multivitamin and my calcium for probably the first year or so. At first, it was, I wouldn't say at first, the whole time it was aversion to different sensations. Oh, thank you, Beverly. She says it should average out about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. That's good to know. Thank God.
Thank you, Beverly.
Thank you, Beverly. My poor teeth. My mom spent a lot of money on braces for these. So, yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question? I got so excited.
Well, I mean, so you were having aversions, of course. You probably couldn't stomach the vitamins.
Yeah.
It probably was making you nauseous to take them.
Yeah,
I mean, they make me nauseous.
The calcium I take now is actually the first calcium I ordered, because it's basically like a starburst. It's very sweet. It's wonderful. I get excited to take it. I'm like, it's candy. But at the time I started taking it right after surgery, sweet stuff tasted awful to me. It was just sickeningly sweet. So I threw that out, and then the multivitamin, I've struggled. I started with the capsule, but I didn't like the capsule because it was getting lodged in my esophagus, and then that it didn't have a great feeling. So then I kind of went to a chewable, but I felt like that multivitamin chewable made me kind of like sick. And then it's funny because I've switched back and forth, and now I've ended up on the 2 vitamins that I started with that I didn't do well with, and I don't play with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So don't give up.
Don't give up
on the vitamins.
Don't give up on the vitamins. Don't give up on any food. Don't give up on any drink. Just know that literally every moment is different. And a lot of it is like a brain correlation. If you think it's going to go poorly, it's probably going to go poorly, because your body is tensing up and going, I don't want this trauma,
Right. Wow.
Wow. Well, you're such a breath of fresh air.
And seriously, you really are. This has been so helpful for us, and we just appreciate you answering all of our questions and sharing your story with us. And we know it's going to help people and be helpful to others also. And yeah, it's just incredible.
Is there anything that we haven't asked you that you're wanting to share with others, or do you feel like we've pretty much touched it all?
Well, I could talk about this forever. I probably should hop on more and share more with everybody, because it is a journey. It is a lifelong journey that is ever changing. But what I will say to everybody, not just CDH1 patients, is I think that it is incredibly important to advocate for yourself in the healthcare system. And I really hope that anybody that has the means to get genetic testing done, do so, to be empowered, that technology is here. It's at our fingertips. Most of us do not understand our family history or come from some sort of blended family at this point. And I think it's just really important to to take that step so that you can make an informed choice, whatever your choice is.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is so important as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
know.
talking to us.
Oh,
and
yes. Thank
We-
you. And I
we're
will
so
be
glad
doing
you're
the
doing so
Hands
much.
Challenge.
Yay!
Icy Pants Challenge. We can't forget about that.
Are you gonna do it?
Yeah, I'm already roping my best friend into it. I'm going to go visit her this weekend. So we're going to have a lot of
Good.
fun.
We can't wait to see
I'm
it.
so excited. Thank
It's
you.
such a weird concept, but I'll do it.
I know my husband's friend is like, thanks for nominating me to do the cold balls challenge.
Exactly. Like, okay. You guys like shrinkage. It's so funny.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have to contend with that, luckily.
No. Lucky there.
Well, being
Yeah.
stomachless looks good on you.
It
so
does.
it's very reassuring to us.
A
So,
lack of worrying looks good on everybody.
yeah.
No.
All right. Well, thank you, Tia-Brooke.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a great weekend with your friend.
Thank you. And you'll see me with the Icy Pants Challenge. And I hope everybody watching, I hope you do that too. And we can all just spread the word.
Yes,
Thank
stomach
you.
cancer awareness is coming to an end. So, guys, if you haven't done your Icy Pants Challenge, go film it and tag us, and we'll share it on our page. So,
Right. And don't forget to go to nostomachforcancer.org and
donate.
Yep.
Yes,
We're at like
donate,
1,000.
because that's the trickle down effect. That's what we're doing here. We're putting that
more
money into
research.
the cause. More research. Hopefully
Awareness.
people in the future won't have to get this surgery and we'll be ahead of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Agreed.
All right.
Okay,
Tia.
thank you so much.
Thank you
Talk to
so
guys
so
later.
much. So
And
glad
thank
to
you,
finally talk
Beverly.
with you.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, Beverly. We need to get you on here, Beverly.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good week.
Bye, Tia.
Bye. Bye.